clean entry like this. This was an A setup trade, okay, in this system. And look at that. Did you long a trend line and get absolutely obliterated? Well, that's because you're not thinking about what matters most in trading, liquidity. Stay tuned, because in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can use both together to make better trades. My name is Forrest, I invest in stuff, I'm a day trader, and it's my passion to help people achieve financial freedom through trading and long-term investing. I have a trading pod, it's called Trade Edge. If you wanna join the best place on the freaking internet, check us out. The link is down in my bio, or you go to discord.gg/tradeedge. Go down to the WAP link, wap.com/tradeedge. Go ahead and start trading. Stand on the edge of your bed, and now you're trading on the edge. It's basically the same thing, but not really. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel too. I only release absolute fire most of the time. I don't know, some of my videos flop. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not perfect. I do my best though. I do my best. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into the markets. Let's not waste any more freaking time. All right, so we're here ES on the daily, and what we need to do is understand what is happening with liquidity versus what's just happening on the chart. So I take this long because I'm a trend line trader, okay? And maybe I put my stop below here, and I put my TP way up here, and I wanna see if my trade works out. I go forward in time, I'm going forward in time. Uh-oh, I'm red. This is a serious problem. Wait, it's coming back. Maybe it's coming back to me. Okay, maybe this is it wasn't a liquidity grab. We got smoked. Okay, let's just see if it comes back. Would my trade have worked out? Oh, snaps, very, very green. Wait, we got a big red candle, came down, and it smacked something. Huh, that's very, very curious. We get out of bar replay here, and if we go back to our 24-hour chart, obviously we have the power of hindsight. We know what happened here. There is something down here, okay? And the thing that is down here is resting liquidity. You need to be using liquidity in your system, okay? Systems without liquidity, without volume, will always have this aspect of way more randomness because they're not accounting for where people are positioned. The easiest way to trade, right? And I do think that easy is better sometimes, but the easiest way to trade is to trade around liquidity, okay? The volume profile, the VPE system, is a super easy system. That's why I'm so adamant about it. Like, there are all these different trading systems out there, okay? There are systems that are super duper confusing that are also 3-letter systems. I'm not gonna call them out by name, but you probably know the one that I'm talking about. They're super duper complicated, and you gotta watch hours and hours of stuff. I can break down my system, you know, at a high level in a few minutes, and then if I really need to go deep with it, right, and showing you examples, it would take me just a handful of hours, okay? My course is like 50 videos, but really it's just breaking down each concept in depth, and then we have more videos of examples. But the actual system itself is super simple, guys, right? Go across my channel, I talk about the same thing every single time. It's just trading around the edges, prior day high, prior day low, overnight high, overnight low, looking for a signal candle, which is a candle with relatively higher volume, that's a hammer, a shooting star, or a doji candle in the direction of our trade, right? And then we're trading into the liquidity, which is a point of control. That's it. That's the entire system. That was like a run-on sense of the entire system. Okay, and there's some nuance with, you can play around with the trend and the things like that, but you know, if you just traded my system as it is with nothing else, it would give you a handful of A setup trades every month, at least 4 or 5 every single month. That would just slap every single time. So let's take a look at this one right here, which is a good example of why you can't just use technicals in the market, because they do not account for where people are positioned, okay? So if we go back to this bar, okay, and we have to ask ourselves, is there anything on our screen right now hinting to where the market should go? Okay, now, first and foremost, we have a signal candle. Okay, we have a VPE system, signal candle, okay? VPE system, signal candle. We have a high volume down doji candle after sweeping a major liquidity target, okay? We swept all these highs over here. Okay, this is all-time highs, by the way over here, okay? So we know that the market's gonna zigzag. We just swept these highs, okay? There's low value in here, low value pocket here. We got our signal candle. So I'm thinking, is there anything here? There are a few major nodes on the screen. There's a node that we're in, okay? And there's a node down below, okay? Now you could stretch it and skew it and things like that. One of the very simple things that we do with our system, because we're simple, okay, we don't overcomplicate it. We're super simple, is we just say, around this node, is there structure that we can align our TP with, our targets with, okay? So let's go ahead and write that down because we want to take notes. Okay, I'm all about taking notes, guys. I think you should write as many things down, be as tedious as possible as a trader, because you want to really force those neurons in your brains together. Is there anything down here that aligns with a node, okay? When I say node, this isn't this magical thing, okay? The volume profile isn't a magical indicator, it's not a trailing indicator or anything. It literally just shows you volume at price. What is volume? What do we mean when we say volume, okay? I'm so adamant about this, especially as I trade more and more in this system, by the way, is something that I arrived at, like, not independently, but kind of independently with someone else. It's why you've never heard of VPE. We just made it up, okay? It's a system that I created after thousands of hours in the charts, trying stuff and just seeing what actually works. Volume is where people have actually made a decision to do something. Think about that. These are the prices where people have actually interacted with the market. And then there are other prices, for example, down here, right, this low volume, where they have chosen not to. So if I had to make a bet, because I'm a betting man, because I'm a day trader and I speculate in the markets, where the market is most likely, not absolutely will, but most likely to get interacted with again, that means pivot, change directions or something, it's going to be where I know people are positioned. There are people there. Okay, they're either long, they're short, it doesn't really matter, we don't have to go too deep into that, but we know that around these edges, prior day highs and lows, and the edges of the shelves are where people have to make a choice, right? Because they're either the last man, they fall into my last man theory. The last man theory basically says that the high of the day, there was people longing at the highs of every single day, and there's people shorting at the lows of every single day. Once we clean those people up, there is a vacuum of market aggression around those prices, okay, unless you're in a really strong trending market. Okay, or a really strong trending day, I should say. Okay, and even if we are going to keep pushing through that price, there's always like an immediate reaction to that, suction of liquidity, right, of those aggressors at those price areas. So if I had to make a bet, I'm looking at my chart, I'm like, dang, where do I think this thing is likely to interact? Okay, I'm going to go short, by the way, because it's a VPE signal. I'm going to align it. So we have this node down here. Okay, this node's pre-announced here. There is a daily candle conveniently with a low right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up my mouse. Actually, let's put my TP at the bottom of this candle in this node. Super freaking simple. Super freaking simple. So this trend line, okay, while it has been great structurally, as we continue to trend, I'm always looking around structure in the market, knowing that in an uptrend, okay, in an uptrend, let me find this little tool. In an uptrend, the market must make pullbacks. And sometimes it'll make a deep pullback. Okay, and what we'll end up with, whoops, ignore that little last part there, is you'll have a trend line. Okay, so you'll have these trend lines that people trade off of. Okay, imagine that these lows were equal. We'll fix this one. Okay, but we still have a higher low. We're still in an uptrend. Okay, just because the market breaks structure temporarily doesn't mean we're not in an uptrend still. Okay, this kind of looks more head and shoulders than I intended, but we still have a higher low. Okay, you can get a deep cut in the market. This would be more similar to what is happening here. You can still get a deep cut in the market that is still a higher low. So we're still uptrending. This creates a lot of fake out opportunities as well. People get trapped short side, right? Creates a large kind of rebound area for the market to continue higher. Well, deep. I'm not going to go through all auction theory in this video. I just want to show you how simple it is to actually use it. You don't have to think about and understand all the underlying concepts. You will and you should, okay, through practice and interaction with the market, especially you look at like level 2 data and things like that. But neither here nor there. You can see where people are. You can see where they are, you can see where people are, you can see where they are. There's a bunch right here. There is the low of a day right here. We know that the absolute last person on that day is positioned right there. The charts are telling us they're there. They can't be anywhere else. They're literally right. I want to say fuck so bad. They're right fucking there, okay? They're right there, okay? So let's see if we hit our target, right? Oh, my chart's exploding again. We gotta go back to the daily. Okay, we'll go back to the daily. Boom, 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 boom. We're going forward at 15 minutes at a time. It's updating. It's updating. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. We'll go to the 1 hour. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's a little bit of red. It's a little bit of red. Oh, snaps, we hit my TP. Just like that. Okay. Super powerful, simple stuff. Now, here's the other side of the system, guys. Like I said, a handful of trades every month. This is what I think most people struggle with when they learn my system as opposed to systems that operate on faster time frames or anything like that. This works across all time frames. I prefer to trade I trade off of 4 hour and higher. Okay, I prefer to have a thesis on the daily. If the daily gives me a trade, then I will look at the lower time frames to optimize my entry. Okay, there are going to be plenty of days because of the size of these nodes, okay, and everything in between, where you do not have a clean entry like this. This was an A setup trade, okay, in this system. There are plenty of worse setups or nothing in this system, and that's fine. That's trading. Real trading is boring. It's not sexy. It's not woo. It's actually really super boring, okay, which is why I'm so boring as a person. Hate to break it to you. I'm kidding. I'm awesome. I'm literally a break dancer. You know, how many B-boys do you know at this big old age that I am? I have arthritis. I need help. Anyways, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Okay, trend lines are great. There was another really useful trend line, which I'll show you here on NQ. Okay, and I use these things together. I look at bull flags and things like that. Okay, different flags and technicals, by the way, in my opinion, are just different representations of consolidation. That's all that I think flags are. Okay, when we look at bull flags and bear flags and pennants, we're just looking at the market priming itself for a move, okay, in different types of shapes. But we had this node up here. Okay, this is a super duper good example. I was gonna do a video on this, but I can't do videos on everything in a day. I guess I could. We have this node right here. Okay, you can change the size of it, but there's this node, this package of people right here. Okay, and then we have some structure here. VAL is here. If we zoom in, I'll make this super apparent for you guys. Super apparent here. So in this volume profile here, there are a few different, let me zoom in more. We have a P-shaped VP, right? So the market pushed up the accumulated volume here. This node is lower than the prior day though, so that's a quick sign, breaking structure. We have these highs, so we started to create this trend, okay, down here, and look at that. So we have a trend, but notice that the trend also in this case had confluence with this other little hump in the VP and digging into this node here. So we've had 3 touches of this trend here soon. If this thing gets interacted with again, typical trend line kind of system use, you should expect that the glass keeps getting tapped, buy, tap the glass, buy, tap the glass, buy, tap the glass, buy, tap the glass, it breaks. Okay, so we'll probably break structure again, and the question in your mind should be, where do we break structure to? Or what is the move that breaks the structure? Is there volume that we can see inside of a day on the volume profile that will let us know that structure is about to be broken? Here's a hint. Yeah, there is. You can see when people are making a move. Okay, you cannot hide in the markets. Okay, volume will follow moves in the markets, right? Or if you have low volume moves, you shouldn't trust them. You should expect those prices to get retested. Okay, any price that has not had a lot of volume around it is not a sticky price. Okay, it needs to come back. We got to fill in the gaps. We got to see how people feel about those prices and interact with it. Okay, so another little example for you. If you found this useful, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you in our trading community. We have a 2-week free trial. Come check us out, hit me up, shoot me a DM. I do my best to respond. The best way to actually contact me is on Discord though, guys. A lot of you guys shoot me DMs on Instagram. I am a one-man army. I am running a company here. I run a brick and mortar business. I'm also a full-time trader. I do a lot of other stuff as well. I'm super busy, and I do not have a manager who answers my DMs. It's all me. So the best way to reach me, if you want to get a response, is on Discord. See you in the next video. Peace.